Breaking news on 41 Action News starts right now.
And that breaking news that we're following this morning involves one person reported dead, another injured following a shooting in Kansas City. Reporter Jordan Betts is live near 12th and Grand with more information. Jordan, tell us, what do you know so far?
Yeah, it's a very active scene that we're here. We're actually about a street away from where it happened. We're here at 13th and Grand, but they have this entire block kind of blocked off. It stretches all the way from 11th Street down here to 13th Street on Grand Boulevard. But just before 4 a.m., KCPD says the officers responded to this area at a reporting of a shooting. They found a car that had someone that had been shot and that had died in the car. They also found a man outside the car that was shot, and now that person is at the hospital, and we don't know the condition or how he is doing yet. But as of now, police say they have no suspects in custody.
We are investigating the possibility that this is involved in another disturbance in another part of the city, not too far away, but we're still en route to that location and try to find a crime scene.
Now, if you know anything about this shooting, you are asked to call the TIPS hotline. We'll work to get you more information about this shooting as the morning goes on. Live in Kansas City, Jordan Betts, 41 Action News.
All right, Jordan, thank you very much. Time right now, 6:01. It's Sunday, February 28th. Before we get into more news that's happening on the Sunday morning, let's get a check of the forecast with Jeff Penner. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, Bryant. And outside, it's pretty mild. Temperatures are basically around 50 degrees. It is quite mild, but a cold front is coming through, not that strong. As we take a look at our Border Home Improvement Skyview Network, the roads are damp to wet. There was a little bit of mist and drizzle earlier, and the roads have some moisture on them from just condensation of the higher humidity. So it might be slightly slick, but not too bad, not even close to any ice. It's now 48 at KCI, 51 downtown, 51 Olathe. You can see northwest winds coming in here in Kansas City, 36 Hiawatha, 38 in Maryville, but 50 in Lee Summit, 51 downtown, a little bit of a south wind out from Carrollton and Marshall, and this front's moving by. But you can see temperatures on either side really aren't that much different in our area. But as we take a look at the bigger picture, it is kind of interesting. It is 67 in Dallas, 72 in Houston, 14 in Bismarck, 7 in Glasgow, Montana. So winter's still trying to get a foothold, but does not look like that Arctic air or cold air is really going to have any huge impact on our weather. What we have seen here is a lot of precipitation missing our area. We've had quite a bit of rain along and east of I-44. St. Louis has had quite a bit of rain, snow, South Dakota and Minnesota. We were in between here with just a few little sprinkles, and the blue were some low clouds. These may be in and out of the area through the day, but it is clearing out. Some decent weather to end February. We'll look into the first week of March here coming up.
3 Wichita police officers were hurt in what may have been an explosion. This happened Saturday afternoon around 4 while checking on a home. As soon as the officers entered a vacant house, there was a loud bang or explosion. Wichita's police chief says they don't know whether there was a booby trap, a gun, or some type of improvised device. One officer has been released from the hospital. The other 2 are still being treated for their injuries. This afternoon, the CDC will meet to set new guidelines for the Johnson & Johnson single-dose vaccine. The FDA authorized the company's single-dose COVID-19 vaccine Saturday evening. Now, this is the first single-dose vaccine for coronavirus available in the U.S. In clinical trials, it has proved to be 72% effective. The vaccine does not require special storage. It's expected that 4 million doses are ready to ship immediately, with 20 million ready by the end of March. Kansas and Missouri's governors joined 20 other governors in opposing the allocation of funds in the latest stimulus package. They say the new stimulus proposal allocates aid based on a state's unemployed population rather than its actual population. The letter from 22 governors claims that punishes states that took a measured approach to the pandemic and entered the crisis with healthy state budgets and strong economies. The letter goes on to say, quote, if Congress is going to provide aid to states, it should be on an equitable population basis. The U.S. House passed President Joe Biden's $1.9 trillion coronavirus relief package yesterday. Now, this relief package would give $1,400 direct payments to many Americans, extend unemployment benefits through August, expand tax credits for families and some low-income workers, and give billions to schools to get students back into the classroom. The bill now heads to the Senate. Missouri Governor Mike Parson posted on Facebook that the state has launched a new partnership with Missouri's area agencies on aging. Now, if you're a senior, your local agency can help you register for a vaccine, coordinate round-trip transportation, and remind you when it's time for your second dose if you need one. You can register online at covidvaccine.mo.gov or reach out to your local area agency on aging for help. The pandemic took a toll on Kansas City's budget, forcing leaders to cut millions of dollars. On Saturday, people got the chance to have their voices heard on the proposed budget for the coming fiscal year. 41 Action News reporter Nick Starling was at that meeting and shares the concerns of some in the community.
About 100 people spoke their minds inside Municipal Auditorium about this proposed budget, cutting about $70 million due to losses mostly tied to the pandemic. There was not a lack of passion from the dozens inside this room, socially distant in front of those who ultimately make the final budget decision, the City Council. City Manager Brian Platt says this was a tough budget to put together, but reiterates no layoffs or furloughs are planned. However, some openings will not be filled. The Zoo, Starlight Theater, Arts KC, the Black Archives of Mid-America, Visit KC will all see cuts in this budget. There were some other areas people here wanted to see funded.
I implore you to fully fund the Office of the Tenant Advocate and make sure that it is equipped to implement and enforce our Tenant Bill of Rights. Thank you.
Give us a budget. Let us deal with our problem. Those who are closer to the problem is closer to the solution.
There's a lot of things to fight for, but at the end of the day, we still got to cut $70 million.
The next budget public hearing is virtual only at 10 a.m. this coming Tuesday. Reporting in Kansas City, Nick Starling, 41 Action News.
Working on some graphics. New data is coming in for the first week of March. What will that hold? March can come in like a lamb or a lion. We'll have all that coming up. Good morning here on this Sunday morning. Well, if you were looking for some rainfall, it was all off to the east, along and east of I-44. Look at St. Louis, almost 3/4 of an inch of rain. Around here, a trace. There was just a few little bits of drizzle, and so we are kind of drying out a little bit, and a cold front has come through, but again, just with a little bit of drizzle and mist, and that was all there was, and just in a few spots. 48 now, KCI 51 downtown, 48 in Knob Nasser. There's a front going through, and the air behind it, 36 Hiawatha, 38 Maryville, is not that cold. The real cold air behind this front is way up in the northern plains, where it is in the teens and even single digits. But that air is not really going to come down here. Look at that, 67 in Dallas, 65 in Shreveport, Louisiana. And this front's going by. We're looking at some great weather today. Now, what about as we go into the first week of March? I'll show you that here in a second as the weather pattern. Kind of interesting. There's 2 storm systems to track. We'll have all the new data coming up.
Thank you, Jeff. Well, the newest episode of Faith in KC debuts today on KSHB.com and on the 41 Action News Facebook page. The guest, not only the founder of a local nonprofit agency, she's also the subject of this new documentary, Bobby Joe, Under the Influence. Her name is Bobby Joe Reed. She says she was an alcoholic by age 13 and later a drug addict. She spent time in prostitution, she was homeless, and left for dead. But she got out of that situation, found faith, beat her addiction, and started a home for other women with similar stories.
God created me to do exactly what I'm doing today. There's no doubt in my mind, 100%. And it's not work. It's not pressure. It's just what I'm supposed to be doing. And, you know, if you ever get in a position where when you're serving God as a job or whatever, that you're helping people, it's not a job anymore, and it's just my life.
You can watch anchor Taylor Hemness's full conversation with Bobby Joe this morning, online and in podcast format. Just search 41 Files. And speaking of podcasts, this documentary is also the subject of the newest episode of Screened on the Spot, the entertainment podcast from 41 Action News. Brent and Donna Jones, the Kansas City filmmakers who made the documentary, talk about why it is such a compelling story to tell. Well, the Golden Globes are tonight, signaling the start of the award season. We take a look at how different the award show will look compared to years past. One of Hollywood's biggest nights is tonight. The 78th annual Golden Globe Awards will honor the year's best in TV and movies, according to the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. Thanks to the pandemic, this year's edition will look different and could be different in terms of who wins. Stephanie Stanton has a preview.
With movie theaters closed most of 2020, films streamed at home are poised to break through at tonight's Golden Globes.
No streamer has ever won a Best Picture Golden Globe. I think this could be the year that changes.
Best Drama is among the 6 nominations for Netflix's Mank, and among the 5 for its offering, The Trial of the Chicago 7.
It's time to dance!
Netflix's The Prom is in the race for Best Musical Comedy, along with Amazon's Borat, the subsequent movie film, and the film version of Hamilton, which debuted on Disney+.
And that's why you're seeing all of these other companies, whether it's Hulu or HBO Max, really working hard to have new big ticket movie releases on their platforms.
What's remembered lives.
Nomadland is also a Best Drama contender, with Frances McDormand up for Best Actress. Her rivals include Viola Davis for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom and Carey Mulligan for Promising Young Woman.
Best Actress is the tightest race, and I honestly would not be surprised if it went to any of them.
That's to get the people's attention.
Ma Rainey also brought a Best Actor nomination for Chadwick Boseman. The Father's Anthony Hopkins earned one too, but he's come up empty in 7 previous Golden Globe nominations.
I think people have assumed he's won, especially for Silence of the Lambs. He didn't win.
In the TV realm, Netflix's The Crown is up for 6 awards, including Best Drama, while Schitt's Creek is the top nominee among comedies.
Because of the pandemic, this year's Golden Globes will be a bi-coastal affair, with Amy Poehler hosting from here at the Beverly Hilton, while Tina Fey is picking up co-hosting duties from the Rainbow Room in New York City.
I think it will present a new challenge that hopefully will make people want to tune in to be like, what the heck is this going to be?
One way or another.
All right, whoever raises his hand gets to present with Jennifer Aniston.
The hosts expect it to be fun. Stephanie Stanton, NBC News, Beverly Hills.
Well, you can watch the Golden Globe Awards tonight right here on your 41 Action News station, starting with a preview show at 6, followed by the awards at 7.
Here's Kansas City's most accurate forecast from meteorologist Jeff Penner.
Good Sunday morning outside on our Border Home Improvement Skyview Network. There is the moon going to be setting here in the next couple of hours, and it is completely clear. It was cloudy about 2 hours ago. It is completely clear as a front is moving by. It's going to be a beautiful Sunday sunrise. It is 48 degrees outside. Visibility 10 miles. Yesterday at this time it was 0. But the northwest wind at 13, gusting to 21. It's going to be a little windy today, and drier air is moving in. And temperatures all day will kind of hold right around 50 degrees. We may drop another 3 or 4 degrees and then go back up during the day as the weather pattern kind of disorganized in some areas and not in others. We are in the more disorganized area. There's a system going across the northern plains. There's a stream of moisture down to our south. Most of the rain has been down here. There's snow up to the north. We have kind of been in the middle and have not seen much rain at all, just a few hundredths of an inch. And there are some scattered areas of low clouds that'll move through, but generally going to be a partly to mostly sunny day. Looking pretty good here on the last day of February. We're going to be right around 50 degrees. The front moving off to the south. More rain along and south of I-44 overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. We're tracking 2 storm systems, and the first one you can kind of see tomorrow morning down in Texas with some snow and rain. In West Texas, we're clear. Tomorrow morning we'll be in the mid-20s to low 30s, and then this little weak front will try to move through and fall apart. So tomorrow, another nice day, probably more like in the low to mid-50s. Watch this storm system, though, as it comes towards us. Some data had it coming far enough north to bring us some rain on Tuesday, but it looks like it is going to stay once again along and south of I-44. So on Monday and into Tuesday, we should be mostly sunny and right around 60 degrees with rain, even a little mix down in Arkansas. We'll watch it. There was some data that had it farther north, but the trend is for it to be farther south, and that is what we're going with. We've taken the rain, even a slim chance that we had in there, out of the forecast. So that's the first storm of that, even a little bit of snow possibly in northern Arkansas and southern Missouri. Then as we go into Wednesday, sunshine Where is the second storm? Here comes the second storm. This is for the end of the week. Last week, it looked like we would get into this with some pretty significant rain, and it sure looks like it's heading this way. Here it is at midnight Thursday night, rain to our west, clouds spreading in. Watch what this does. It moves east. Look, that's some pretty heavy rain there, and then drops south. So we missed that too. So when is our next significant chance of rain? Really not for another 10 days or so. And you can see here some very heavy totals, 1 to 4 or 5 inches additional down across the southeast Tennessee Valley. Even St. Louis could see another 6,200s. And right here, we are the least. Probably not much rain at all the next 7 days. Pretty incredible. That's sort of what happened all season long. As far as our snowfall, we were one of the lower totals in the middle part of the country. So 51 today, partly cloudy to mostly sunny, a little breezy. 55 on Monday. Look at that beautiful weather. That's the first week of March. It can certainly be a lot more active and worse than that for the first week of March. We're looking at some great weather.
Certainly are. Thanks a lot, Jeff. When we come right back, our coverage of Black History Month continues as we look back on the impact the Mizzou protests had around the nation. Well, it's Black History Month, and 41 Action News is looking back at the impact African Americans have had on our area. That local impact made national news when students at the University of Missouri and Columbia protested incidents of racism on campus in 2015. 41 Action News reporter Aaron Ladd spoke with former students looking back at the actions they took in hopes of inspiring change.
A series of racially charged crimes on the campus of the University of Missouri, and what many saw as a lack of action and response from school administration fed rising tensions in Columbia during the fall of 2015.
I think there is a clear need for change on campus.
It's not scary because of what's happening. It's scary because of the lack of closure and the lack of what's, like, it's not being fixed.
Not just a black and white issue, full pun intended. It's about marginalized students everywhere.
Demonstrations led by a group called Concerned Student 1950 aimed to reaffirm the school's commitment to students of color, demanding the highest ranking officials on campus to make changes.
Racism lives here, and so do we.
One graduate student, Jonathan Butler, refusing to eat until school chancellor Arbo and Lofton and system president Tim Wolf resigned.
What do you think systematic oppression is?
It's systematic oppression is because you don't believe that you have the equal opportunity for success.
You don't.
Inspired by the movement, the Missouri football team joined Butler's strike, telling leadership they wouldn't suit up until Wolf and Lofton sat down.
It's not about us. We just want to use our platform to take a stand as fellow concerned students on the issue, especially being as though a fellow black man's life is on the line.
We're just going to all stay together as a team, and we all made this decision as a team.
Obviously, we got some problems.
Almost 6 years later, former players reflect on their role in a historic moment for Mizzou.
Because if they're not out there playing the games, nobody's out there making money, and when nobody's making money, that's when things get changed.
President Tim Wolf announced he was resigning.
Please, please use this resignation to heal, not to hate, and let's move forward together for a brighter tomorrow.
Should not have taken this much, and it is disgusting and vile that we find ourselves in the place that we do.
No change happens overnight. Those closest still see work that needs to be done, but eager to be a part of the change.
It's really crazy seeing, a university that I dedicated so much of my life to, really become a pivotal point in the history of athletes being able to voice their opinions.
It's about being impactful, not just with statements, but with action within our community and using our influence in a positive way.
Influencing change with eyes on a brighter future. In Missouri, Aaron Ladd, 41 Action News.
All month long, we've been highlighting the importance of black culture and history in our area. You can find more stories on our website, kshb.com. Getting on the slopes right here at home. When we come back, Deja Jones takes us to Snow Creek for this week's One Tank Trips. Welcome back, everyone. We continue to follow breaking news this morning. One person is dead after a shooting in Kansas City. 41 Action News reporter Jordan Betts live at the scene this morning with the latest that she's learning. Jordan, tell us what you know.
Yeah, investigators are still here trying to figure out what happened this morning with this early morning homicide. It's actually just kind of up the street from where we're at. Police have blocked off all the way from 11th to 13th and Grand here because this early morning homicide. Just before 4 a.m., officers responded to this area and reporting of a shooting. They found a car that's someone inside that had been shot and killed. There was a man also outside the car that was shot. He's been taken to the hospital. We haven't gotten word on how he is doing or what condition he is in. But as of now, police have no one in custody.
We are investigating the possibility that this is involved in another disturbance in another part of the city, not too far away. But we're still en route to that location and try to find a crime scene.
So this morning, detectives will be trying to ask witnesses if they saw anything, what happened, and just kind of figure out overall more people that they need to talk to and piece together what happened this morning. If you do know anything about this shooting, you are asked to call KCPD and call their tips hotline. Live in Kansas City, Jordan Betts, 41 Action News.
Jordan, thank you. Time right now, 6:31. Let's get another check of the forecast on this Sunday morning with Jeff Penner.
Good morning, Brian. And outside right now, it is dry, but the roads are a little damp to wet. We had a little bit of mist and light drizzle overnight, and the humidity was high, and so there's some condensation as well. We were talking a trace to maybe 1/100 of an inch. No ice, not even close. Temperatures have been around 50 all night long. And we take a look at the sunrise, some high clouds there, but it's going to be a pretty sunrise and a nice day to end of February. It's 48 at KCI, 51 downtown, 50 in Lee Summit, 50 in Richmond. See a wind shift that went through here. It's a weak front, 36 Hiawatha, 38 in Maryville. Average low is around 30 degrees, so even behind the front, temperatures are above average for the low. Now, there is cold air behind it, way up in the northern plains, teens and single digits. No sign that that is coming down anytime soon. And look at that, 72 Houston, 67 in Dallas after the crazy month they just experienced. And as far as precipitation, well, there's been quite a bit of rain along and east of I-44, snow around I-90 along and I-90 well north of I-80, and the blue is some low clouds, and those are moving south, but they'll kind of break up, so we are looking at a pretty nice day. So the last day of February is going to end up being right around 50, 51 degrees, and partly to mostly sunny. March begins tomorrow. We'll look into the first week here coming up in a few minutes.
Well, we have a new installment of One Tank Trips this week. Past 2 weeks, Deja Jones gave us some options to stay inside. But this week, she's actually taking us out in the snow. Deja shows us all the fun that Snow Creek has to offer.
On this edition of One Tank Trips, we are traveling 44 miles from Kansas City to shred the gnar in Platte County, Missouri at Snow Creek. I mean, just look at me go. Just kidding. This is me. But before I show you all of my skills, let's talk a little bit about where we are and how you can take part in the fun. Snow Creek is a place for all ages and skill levels to come out and ski, snowboard, or go snow tubing.
We offer great lessons here to ensure that everyone has a safe time out on the slopes. Make sure that you can stop safely and have fun. That's what we're all about. And then, those people that want to get better at their skills, we've got that too. Over here, on the very left side, we have our terrain park. So, those people that are super adventurous, want to go off a jump and a rail, maybe not you this first time. And then over here, we have what we call the bowl. So that's kind of intermediate advanced terrain. This over here is 6-shooter. And then over here, we call it our flatland. So it's a little bit more mellow. We've got our beginner chairlift. We've got a rope tow for our beginners that come and join us. Okay. So this is a great learning area. And then if we swing around over here, this is Rainbow Ridge. And over here at Rainbow Ridge, that's where we start all of our ski and snowboard lessons.
That's me.
Yep, that's you. And there's a magic carpet there, so it makes it easy for guests to get up and down the slope.
Now it's time to gear up for a ski lesson on Rainbow Ridge.
Okay, gnarly.
How's it feeling? Pretty good?
It feels good.
Good.
I got room, but not too much room, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah.
All right, now I'll strap you in here.
Oh, thank you. Am I supposed to be walking like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Takes a little bit of getting used to there.
All right.
Looking good.
Thank you. I have a big head, so.
How's it feel?
Feels good.
Shake it like this. Okay, bubble it.
I think that was a little much, right?
Hopefully you're not doing that on slope. Looks good. There you go.
All right, cool. You matched my outfit. Thank you.
Now I'm officially ready. Ski instructor Jay is here to teach me some basics.
Arms in front like you're carrying a tray. Okay. Perfect, like that. Elbows, that looks perfect. Elbows just slightly in front of your rib cage. Follow my track up here. We'll do a nice little turn. Okay, roughly, yep. And so you'll lift up the ski to turn it. Yep, we're just getting used to that sliding motion. Yes, yes! Woo! Awesome! All right, let's see it.
Push.
Little push down. Nice. Good, good, good. Good. Woo! Slow down there, Speed Racer. Slow down. Woo!
I may have started off pretty slow, but they say practice makes perfect.
Don't let the skis do the work for you. Get that arrow. Yeah. That's it. Keep turning, keep turning, keep turning. Keep turning. Yes! Turn this way, looking up. Beautiful. Back that way. Woo!
And after putting all my practice together, it's time to just go for it. Okay, far from perfect, but hey, I didn't fall. A private lesson like the one I just took is $60 for 1 hour. They also offer lessons for children and groups. Snow Creek is open until mid-March, and their hours vary depending on the day you decide to go. Due to COVID, you have to book in advance, and they are not accepting cash. So go ahead and plan your trip with friends or family.
One tank to rips, shred in the gnar.
Deja Jones, 41 Action News.
So fun. Skiing is not easy, so that was real fun to watch. Okay, well, this is also fun to watch. Baseball. Hey, fans, today marks the beginning of spring training games for the Royals. We'll have a preview when we return.
Well, heading into Saturday night, Baylor and Gonzaga were the only undefeated teams in Division I men's basketball. Kansas honoring 3 of their own on senior night. What would be a better senior gift than to knock off number 2 Baylor? We head to the court to find out if they can do it. Macio Teague on the give and go. Mark Vittle with the bounce back. Teague with the layup. Baylor up by 3. Very next possession, David McCormick inside to Jalen Wilson for the bucket and 1. Wilson would make that free throw. We're all tied at 18 and just before the half. Christian Brown with the drive. Spin move, layup, and 1. Kansas taking a 1-point advantage in the second. Baylor still fighting here. Davion Mitchell to Teague for the tray ball. Corner pocket there, and 1. Makes it a 4-point play. Baylor cuts the lead to 3. Next possession, Brown to DeJuan Harris for the layup. Kansas expanding their lead to 5. Late second half, Kansas trying to hold on. Mitch Lightfoot with the hook shot. Kansas now by 7. It would be Kansas's night. Ochai Agbaji with the alley-oop can't connect, but Lightfoot still there with a reverse layup. Kansas sends their seniors out in style. 71-58 victory over previously unbeaten Baylor.
Running out there, we kind of knew it. We knew it was coming. We were saying, like, oh, yeah, they're ready for today's game. And that kind of give us a lot of energy, knowing that our fan base is behind us, knowing how loud they is. It's just like an extra boost for us.
When you're turned up and you play with that much energy, that covers mistakes. And when you're not, it magnifies them. And so tonight we made some mistakes, but they were covered, or they were camouflaged because of how turned up we were.
And K-State at number 10, West Virginia, Saturday on a 2-game win streak. Pass inside to Emmett Matthews for the drive and dunk. West Virginia taking a 7-point lead. Middle first half, though, Wildcats kick it out to Rudy Williams for the 3-ball. Wildcats cut the lead to 6. 5 minutes left before half. Mike McGurl getting in on the action now. He knocks down to 3. The Wildcats pull within 2. 2 minutes left before half. Wildcats holding strong inside to Davion Bradford for the flush. K-State within 1 now. Mountaineers with the answer, though. Sean McNeil hitting the three. West Virginia with a 4-point advantage. Early second half off the inbound, Jalen Bridges for the layup and one. Mountaineers with a 9-point lead early. Middle second half, McNeil with another three, and West Virginia just goes on a run in the second half. West Virginia wins this one 65-43. That snaps K-State's 2-game winning streak.
They're averaging 90 the last 5, I believe, and we held them in the 60s. And probably, if we're a little better offensively, probably hold them in the 50s.
We just had a high, and now we got to learn from another loss. So now this is a different type of loss coming off of 2 wins in a row, and all we can do is learn from it.
And number 24 ranked Mizzou not in action on Saturday. Unfortunately, the Tigers game was postponed earlier this week due to COVID-19 issues within Texas A&M's program. After a combination of positive tests from the Aggies, both teams just plan to hopefully reschedule, although a date hasn't been yet determined. The Tigers will be back in action next on March 3rd at Florida. And it's hard to believe it, but baseball is back and it is going to be played. No, we're not teasing you like 2020 did. Games actually happening, and they're happening today. Here's Aaron Ladd with more.
This is not a drill, Haley. The Royals will play a baseball game Sunday in Surprise. 7 innings of simulated ball against the Texas Rangers, followed by 2 innings of intra-squad action for the boys in blue. Our first look at a retooled outfield for Kansas City and a good opportunity for young arms to see different bats early in camp. Mike Matheny telling reporters, even though it's early, every at-bat is critical for a team hoping to take the next step.
Just seeing the value in it more and more every year for not just our pitchers, but also the position players. They need to be on their feet. They need to see those at-bats to get the timing. And when you try and beat that system a little bit, I think you pay for it.
Reporting with the Royals, Aaron Ladd, 41 Action News.
All right, thank you, Aaron. In high school sports, Kansas State wrestling going on this weekend. 6A and 4A underway on Saturday. Here are some local first-place winners in 6A. Gus Davis of Gardner Edgerton in the 195 weight class, and Jahir Contreras from Shawnee Mission East in 126. Still waiting on some of those 4A results. Hopefully, we will have more of those later on tonight. Thanks for joining us. That's a look at your morning sports. Have a great rest of your day.
Well, some sad news. KU's first African-American men's basketball player has died at the age of 90. On Saturday, the university's athletic department posted that Lavanis Squires died on February 19th in Pasadena, California. Born in Hartsdale, Missouri, Squires was raised in Wichita, Kansas, playing for former KU great Ralph Miller at Wichita East High. Squires played 3 seasons at KU and was part of the 1952 NCAA championship team. All right, hey, take a look at this. A huge iceberg has broken off the Brunt ice shelf in Antarctica. Phenomena is known as calving and comes almost a decade after scientists at the British Antarctic Survey first detected growth of vast cracks in the ice. It's the 3rd major crack in the ice shelf that's become active in the last 10 years. In January, the crack pushed northeast half a mile a day, cutting the 500-foot floating ice shelf. Just an impressive sight, Jeff. Hopefully, sights like that stay south to Antarctica. No snow, no ice, nothing like that in our area. You know, I think after the winter we had, just a few weeks ago, I don't want to see any more of that stuff.
You're going to get your wish.